Welcome to another conversation with Carl. Today we're talking with Juzat St. Marie. They are a Los Angeles based singer songwriter duo. The duo is made up of Matt Juzat and Heather St. Marie. A little background about this dynamic duo. They are married, and back in 2020, they had to cancel their tour due to COVID. At the same time, Heather was also fighting breast cancer. Today, she's cancer free, but her song In It Together highlights the journey. Both of them are here today to discuss. Welcome, Matt and Heather.
Hi,
Hello.
Carl.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to start. How did you get into music? Have you always been in music? Is it something that is, yeah.
Well, for me, how did we get in? We got into music pretty much together, but I that's just all that I've ever known is I've from the earliest years I knew I was going to be a musician. I just didn't know how to get there. And then met her. I was just out of high school, and she came up to college in my hometown, and we started working together to form a band, and we just kind of dove in head first. I mean, we really started touring like right off the
Immediately.
bat. Yeah, didn't mess around at all. I guess when you're like really young, there's really no fear and no time to think about it. We just dove in and started doing it, and it just has always kind of been trucking along this whole time. Just
Yeah.
the trajectory has taken little twists and turns, but it's always kind of been on the incline.
Yeah.
And you're touring with some great bands or some great singers, Rick Springfield, Pat Benatar, REO Speedwagon, there's Chicago, Melissa Manchester. What's it like performing with them?
It's incredible. I mean, I'll say this, especially like with Rick Springfield. He's got such a work ethic and he pushes us to be better. I think getting a chance to see these legacy acts, I mean, they just come from a different mindset of working hard and just giving their all. And I think that helps us because it sets that bar so high that we just keep pushing ourselves to get even better.
I mean, when you get on the stage, are you like, it's Rick Springfield, or you're like, that's Pat Benatar, or are you like, I'm performing right now and I'm not paying attention?
Yeah, you compartmentalize. So when it's our moment on that stage, everything else falls away, at least for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just laser focused on getting these fans. I call it fishing for people. Coming from South Louisiana, I love fishing. And so you're just throwing that out there and just trying to draw them in. Now, afterwards, when you hit the merch table, that's when you kind of go, oh my gosh, like every night Pat Benatar would say, how amazing are Dozad St. Marie? And that's when I would just melt. Like, oh, so like you let yourself feel that after the fact, but in the beginning, you just focus on getting the job done. But
Yeah.
then like with Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon, it was incredible. It was the first day of the arena tour and we're sound checking and I see this person walk up and it's him and he just looks at us and he said, "Welcome to the tour. If there's anything you need, let us know." So top down, it was just such a warm welcome and he's so humble. A lot of them are, they're willing to give us words of advice or just share some things with us. I mean, it's really, we're fortunate.
Your song Common Ground, um, was you released that in, was it 2020? I
Yes.
want to get the right date. So Common Ground you released in 2020 and it got 1.6 million views on YouTube. And I think that that's the new way for bands. You want to talk about is through YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's maybe one of the biggest. I don't know between that or TikTok, but yeah, it's one of the biggest for music outreach to get new fans. We treated that like, or that music video. The idea for us was to try to have a nod to a throwback time of the heyday of MTV, where those like the '90s, the music videos.
It is. It's
So
black and white. It's
we
yes.
yeah,
Very
so we
like
tried to
yeah.
we really tried to go that route and the dark and the light. So we created a lot of that the concept and we did a lot of the design as well. We had a friend come in and help us, but we built the sets and everything. But yeah, the idea of that one specifically, you have the light world and dark world, and that was really to represent a growing divide that we saw coming on social media. Because we're always on social media because we stay in touch with our fans. It's always us answering. But because of that, we saw the growing divide on social media coming long before COVID. And so that song itself was kind of a commentary on that, where on social media, it would appear that we're all divided. But like Heather and I know from touring, we're in people's homes. know these people very well, we're not all divided as it would appear on social media. So that's kind of the concept of that song.
I would tend to agree with you because I would tend to say that when you're looking at people, music plays different roles in your life.
Mhm.
And you might have different ideas, but it does bring people together, right?
No
It
doubt.
does. That's the point of like listening to a song, it's connecting people.
And
Well, and I think in the real world, we don't have that sense of anonymity or that sense of power that the internet gives you. Like, imagine going to a grocery store, and you pick up one type of bread, and I'm like, how dare you buy that bread? What do you, like it's not reality.
right.
It really isn't. And I think we're a whole lot more forgiving and a whole lot more accepting in real life than we are on the internet. And so that's what we're trying to just remind people.
On this last tour, I was gonna say, like, we played a kind of a small theater listening room venue, and again, we know most of the people, most of our fans, just because it's been years of we've been touring in these areas for years, and so anyway, we see them on social media, and we kind of see the hard line and the divide, you know. And we were playing this theater the other day, and I could see in the crowd, and I was looking at them, I knew these people, like, some are very on the far right and some are very on the far left, and it was about 50-50 in that room. It didn't matter. They were all like singing the lyrics with us. They were all like smiling, having a wonderful time, and that it just solidifies what we're saying. It's like that divide, that's not real life. That's just social media and media. But like in real life, we're all getting together at events, and no problems at all.
Yeah, that I would imagine that when you're listening to a song or you're listening to an artist, you don't think, are they Republican? Are they Democrat? Did they vote for so and who do they vote for? You're not thinking that.
No.
Yeah. But another song that you seem to write a lot about music that affects your life, in it together talks about your journey through breast cancer. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was really proud of that song because when you're going through chemo and radiation, I mean, you're just so worn down. And I remember telling Matt, like, I don't know if I have any more creativity in me. I'm just so tired. And I was kind of worried, how is this going to play out in life? And coming out, though, I realized it's like a slingshot. When you're pulled back really, really far, you shoot that much further out. And our creativity came back tenfold. And having that song gave all that we went through, it gave it purpose and it gave it meaning, and that's all the symbolism. At the time, we had found out that, and this statistic may have changed, but at the time, 1 in 8 women in America were going to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And that just blew our minds. Like, it's staggering. And that was that symbol, the 8 with the 1 through it, which also represented like infinity. Let's just get through this and break that cycle. So we were really, really proud of that song. And it was kind of a, hey, we've been through it. We know where you are, because I don't think there's anybody in this world who hasn't been touched in some way by cancer.
Yeah.
So it was a really proud moment for us.
Did you, and I did personal question you, did you lose your hair?
I did.
Because okay. Because I
Yeah,
look
you
at
saw
both
it.
of you. Yeah, your hair is very important to both of you.
Right. Well, yeah, I laugh. He's got the better hair in the band, so it was all good. Yeah, I did. And,
Yeah.
touring taught me, when you're touring, especially when you're young and you're just starting out and you don't know if the promoter's going to rip you off and you're not going to get paid. You don't know where you're sleeping that night. You don't know when you're going to eat next, and we learned all of that just to put one foot in front of the other. And I took all of those lessons during cancer. So when the doctors were like, well, you're going to lose your hair, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to just, I told him, I called home. She was like, you're taking this really well. I was like, well, I'll have him shave my head and we're going to go pink and we're going to do all these fun things that I never was brave enough to do before. And so you can see in the music video, it was just growing back, and I got to document my chemo curls in the video. And then I got some beautiful wigs. Family member did a whole fundraiser and sold cookies and raised the money for me to get that pink wig that's in the video. So I had a lot of fun with it, and it's documented forever. And now it's finally growing back.
How does it affect your music going forward? Like if you had it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, I say that I'm Heather 2.0. Heather 1.0 before cancer, I'd always be worried, like, oh gosh, what are people going to think of this? Or maybe we shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't wear that. Just, always second guessing myself. And after that, when you're facing mortality, and then you come out of that, you realize that none of that really matters. And I'm a whole lot less fearful now. And so I feel like with the music and with my performances, I'm a much stronger person. I'm a much better artist because of it, because I kind of don't care anymore. It's just like, if this is my gut feeling and this is what I want to do, that I'm going for it.
I think when you're facing mortality and you're facing it in a way that most of us do not face it, I think it makes you stronger.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a lesson I learned from my grandmother. It's like everyone has a struggle. The key is, are you going to let it make you a better person or a bitter person? And that's true. We all go through things at different levels and at different, times in our life. And that's what it's about, right? Is to learn how to have more empathy and learn how to embrace life more and live more.
Yeah, I mean, it's about though you fall. It's not about falling because everyone's falling. It's
Yeah.
about getting back up. And then how
Correct.
do you get back up?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you guys work together? Like, Matt, do you write? Heather, do you write? Do you write together?
It's kind of a
Yes.
mix of both.
The
Yeah.
answer is yes. Songs don't, well, speaking for the songwriting process, songs come into the world how they want to come into the world, it seems. We don't force anything. Typically, it does start with me with a guitar riff or a guitar idea. And then, she may latch on to something and be like, oh, playing that, I've got this idea. And it comes to vocal melody, lyrics or whatever. Sometimes it does come with a lyric or a concept, but I would say that's more rare. But yeah, we just kind of, our thing is just try to stay out of our own way and let the songs come in how they want to come in. That would be our most successful way of bringing a song about. Yeah,
Do you get writer's block if you're there a week or 2 weeks? How long does it take to typically write a song?
We've had the gamut. I mean, we've had a song that came in 30 minutes, like almost completely done. It just kind of landed in our lap. And we've had songs like Where Were You that we took months and months to make sure the lyrics were perfect. So a lot of times it is like any art form. If you're having troubles, you just kind of put it aside and just let it sit and then move on to something else. And then it'll in the back of your mind, it'll be working its way out. And then when it's ready, you can jump back on it.
We tour a lot and we're not great about writing on tour. I think on tour at any level, you're kind of exhausted to some degree. And so we just don't find ourselves, I guess there's not a lot of time,
Right.
and maybe not a lot of creative energy on tour. I think we're kind of focused on the task at hand. And so sometimes, songs start and then we go off on tour and come back to it, hopefully. But, ideally, we're about to go on tour in a couple of weeks, trying to finish up a couple of songs so we can maybe road test those songs on the tour. That's our favorite thing to do, because when we play songs, several times we've just recorded songs and then we've toured on the song and we're like, I wish we had maybe toured on it. Because when you tour on a song, there's a different layer of like accountability playing that song in front of crowds. And you can kind of vibe off the crowd and kind of, sometimes a song morphs a little bit, right? Whenever you're getting a different energy and you're like, well, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. And we tweak it over the course of a tour and then come back and record it is our ideal.
The most dramatic would be this last song we released, Burn. We actually finished writing it on stage every night, because we had an idea of going into this halftime breakdown. So one night we just said it, hey, we're going to try this new part. Tell us what you think. And that's kind of terrifying in a good way, because it could really fall flat on its face.
Sure.
It could be a train wreck, but it worked. And the response was, you could see people felt that moment. And so that ended up becoming a final part of the song.
Do you feel whenever you're writing, after the song is recorded and it's put to bed, do you feel you have to change it? Or is it never, we're not going back, we're done?
Once it's out there, we don't look back. But there's a song that he's talking about, one of the ones that we're trying to finish. We've recorded it 5 times because it's not quite right. We toyed with the BPM, we toyed with the key, and I think finally he's landed on the instrumentation. This is where it's hard that we're the independent artists and also the producers and the engineers, because there's not that third person to say, this is what you need to do, let's do it, and then walk away. So we have to sit there and kind of play with it and listen back.
Is that better? Or do you want an
Ideally,
engineer?
as an artist, yes, because it's completely our idea and our representation of the song, but it's a lot more work.
It could also be torturous, depending. No, I just said it could be torturous depending. I mean, sometimes it's a blessing, but it's also a curse. There's no, and we also have our own studio too, right? So we're not watching the studio clock, which is a good thing for creativity, but maybe not so great when there's no incentive to need to finish this song today, right? So that there's something to be said for that too.
Do you have a schedule of I need to finish songs? Like now you're going on tour in 3 weeks. Do you feel I need to finish it before we get there? Or we're just going to go? We'll see where this goes. We have enough music in our catalog right now so that we can go out there? Or do you feel like I got to keep doing more music?
Well, that's the
More.
catch. Yeah, we don't feel like we have enough
No.
music in our catalog. We're
Okay.
sorely lacking there. We have a lot of songs that need to be finished.
It's
So-
tough because we book all the shows. That takes a long time. And now we're in the promotion of the shows. So we were just in her office, like getting ads made and in circulation right before we ran over to the studio to come talk to you. And then after this, we're going to record more video ad spots for shows on the tour. So there's a promotion of the tour, and then there's getting ready for the tour. So we're going to go in, we're going to tweak our live show so we can keep it current and always morphing in something new. And that includes aesthetic with lighting and just like set lists and everything. So there's that, production rehearsals, and then you're off on tour. And then once we're on tour, man, that's pretty much it. We have capacity to be the tour manager and the artist, and that's about what we can achieve on a tour. And then you come back, there's a decompression period. You try to catch up on a little sleep and then rinse and repeat.
How did you guys get along on tour? Do you need to take breaks from each other because you're there together? Or you're not,
No.
you're totally in together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think because we've been doing this since we were teenagers, this is all we know. Because we're a couple, there's a different thing. We're not leaving someone back home. So for us, this is like 100% all in. It's vacation, it's work, it's everything rolled into one. And we've learned to compartmentalize. Like it's show day. If he's saying, Heather, we need to hurry, you've got 10 minutes. I don't take that personally because it's tour manager talking to the artist. Saying wrap it up,
Yeah.
your makeup looks fine. If it's a day off, then we're like a couple and it's like, hey, let's go look at stuff. Not that there are that many days off, but we're able to kind of compartmentalize and know what hat each one's wearing. So we
Yeah, I
get
mean,
because of that.
I have to guess it if you're performing and you don't get home till like midnight, 1, 2 a.m., and you're still probably from being on that stage and from performing, it probably takes you a while to come down and then get some sleep and then start again for the next day.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. And sleep is crucial because our show is extremely vocal intensive. And if we don't get ample sleep, that it's a struggle to achieve some of that vocal lock. So yeah, sleep is paramount.
Who are your inspirations for music?
I mean, for me, definitely Alice in Chains.
That's kind of where we got our start
yeah.
together.
The dark harmonies and melodies just spoke to me, but it's a gamut. I mean, I love a lot of a great pop song. We actually
80s.
will throw in, 80s on, even like Robin does dance music, European dance music, but I love it. And her lyrics are really conducive to a Dozat Sainte Marie version. We've done a few of her things just off the cuff, but I mean,
Lots of 80s pop.
80s, yeah.
80s pop, 90s rock. Like that. That's
Are
pretty
you, when you're writing a song, this is what I'm trying to go after, or you just write it? Okay, I'm trying to get an 80s pop song out here, or you're not. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think only very recently we've started thinking about like, hey, our set might need a moment. Like with Burn, I was like, hey, we need another upbeat song, a driving tempo song. And so we did set out for that kind of a vibe. But typically, it's more about, like we said, we have all these songs that we're kind of just playing catch up, so the songs will write themselves.
And when you're on tour, like I was looking at your tour, you're in Texas, you're a lot in the South coming up now. Are those places that you really like to go? Because you said you're from New Orleans, or?
I'm from south of New Orleans and he's from almost Arkansas. But yeah, that's kind of our home base, if you will. Yeah, those are the markets we've toured quite a bit in because
It's
that's
that
what we
like
know.
East Coast, Midwest. We just came back from the Midwest. We just did a whole few weeks run there. But yeah, the Southern tour, we tend to do that every October. ish, March ish. I don't know if there's any specific reason, but that just seems to be our norm. So we'll do like the first run of the year usually is across the South, and we just do like a little loop and back.
Yeah.
And then we'll do like our Midwest, East Coast, and all that stuff. Not a lot of West Coast. We're trying to remedy that. We did some stuff with REO Speedwagon. But yeah, we're trying to remedy and do some more West Coast. Probably like in the winter months. We tend to not tour in the winter months in areas where there might be like ice on the roads, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because, if we're just the headliner, we have a little bit of control over that. And so typically we'll just stay at home and record, but we want to, while we're home in Los Angeles, we'd like to do a little bit more regional stuff on the weekends.
Yeah.
So that's something we're trying.
Yeah. Are you always looking to do the next tour? Who would you like to perform with, or who would you like to be on stage with? Because you've already got a great lineup there with Rick Springfield, Pat Benatar, REO Speedwagon, Chicago. Those are great names. Who do you want to? Are you thinking, I want to go join Taylor Swift on stage?
Sure.
Love to.
Yes. Would love to.
Would love
She
to.
makes careers. Yeah. I mean, that's what I joke, but I'm like, anyone who can get me in an arena with catering, I'm happy.
Catering.
Catering's important. Food's great.
Right?
Yeah.
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 I love arenas. I also love listening rooms and small theaters. So, the gamut. Anyone who wants to take us on tour, if they're a cool person,
Let's go.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's do it. But yeah, we are always looking. I mean, we're already talking about next year and setting our sights on hopefully Australia. We've got to make it back out to Ireland. That was incredible. And it would be good to go back there.
More
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
More UK.
UK.
Yeah.
When COVID hit, how did you, I know your tour was canceled.
Yeah.
How did you guys react to, that must have been hard because you guys were for two people who are on the road a lot and now you're not on the road. That must have been very hard to figure
Well,
out.
that was coming out of my cancer. That was going to be the big comeback tour. And it was all of North America, including Red Rocks.
hmm
And so we were really heartbroken when that happened.
But only for a
But,
short time. I
yeah.
think we put our foot on the gas instead
Yeah.
of put our foot on the brake. Decided to move. It really was more YouTube.
Yeah. We focused on YouTube.
All right, well, the world's going to shut down for X amount of time. We can't tour right now. What do we do? Well, we're going to focus on YouTube. Because our YouTube numbers sucked going into the pandemic. They were
I mean, we had maybe a few
minuscule.
hundred subscribers because
Yeah.
we'd ignored it.
Yeah.
It was one of those you just sign up to get the username and then we kind of just completely forgot about it. So we definitely started working on live and interviews and then those music videos.
It just kind of forced us to shore up some areas where we had deficiencies because we're always on the road. And YouTube was certainly one of those. And so yeah, we just dove in and really went for it.
Yeah.
When you are working on YouTube, it seems like that's where a lot of the upcoming artists, that's where they go. So do you think of YouTube now as very important for your next step, or?
It is. It's a great way to make fans, not only in the US, but in other countries, we found. And then a young demographic. Like I asked all my cousins' kids, I was like, well, how do y'all find music? And every one of them, like teenage and under were just like YouTube. And I realized it's because parents, they have YouTube for kids and they let them do that. And so we saw a lot of young kids latching on, and so that's good because kids love our music and they're brutally honest. They'll tell you, I don't like that, but they love it. So it's a great way to meet them.
How do you listen to fans? Because sometimes I would say fans, your instinct tells you you're right. And sometimes your instinct tells you the fans are right. And how do you know? That seems like a hard line to cross between listening to fans and deciding who to trust.
I think we're both right. So we are the ambassadors of, I guess, the musical stuff, but like the fans are certainly drivers. As I've said a few times, like we are in close contact with our fans a lot of the time since we answer all the socials and we're on there quite a bit. So not only are we getting little bits of feedback and stuff along the way, but as we're in touch with them, we are also seeing their life's journeys too. And we draw inspiration from that in our songwriting. A lot of times, our songs are very personal to us, but sometimes we're drawing inspiration from other people's stories too. So I mean, I think it's a give and take. Our fans, fortunately, they are big champions of what we do, but they do give us little bits of nuggets of advice or whatever, and we take it all. I mean, this is a collaborative effort. Without fans, we're just two people just floating
with a
around.
hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, what do you take? Do you take a lot of stuff with you? I can see right behind you, you've got 2, 4, 5 guitars. Like, are you taking, and there's a whole bunch of other ones underneath you.
I know.
Depends on the
How much do you take with you when you
It,
travel?
it does depend on the tour. So we have our touring rig A, which is a Ford Fusion. And that's for like regional shows, like when we drive up to Santa Barbara, and that's one acoustic guitar, a little bit of merch, a smaller rig. That's kind of akin to our flying rig and setup. When we're fly dates, we're limited to what we can bring.
It's just smaller. It's just a smaller footprint of gear
Stripped down
for the fly
yeah.
dates. But then our regular touring, a couple of guitars, bigger pedal boards, lighting rig.
Lighting, more merch, backdrops. So that's what we're about to launch out. Driving across the Southeast U.S., we're going to have that whole scene.
I have a few guitars.
Yeah, I guess by next year we're going to upgrade to a minivan, and we're
Okay.
doing that kind of touring with, because I have bigger lights. I have these 360 tubes that I'd like to add in, maybe a projection, so that we can do like just a different show and
Yeah.
tailor the show based on the stage. We try to bring the most we can, making it make sense in how we're touring, what vehicle.
Yeah. So, and then what is next? What are the next songs you're working on, or what would you like to share with us that's next as we wrap up?
So we have a batch of songs that we've been road testing that we're trying to record before we leave if possible. And we're writing some new music. So yeah, I mean, if really our mind is kind of wrapped around creating content to promote those things. And that's a big chore. I mean, these days they're saying you kind of need like 30 pieces of content to revolve around one song release. We're probably not going to follow that exactly, but we'll do quite a bit of content. Yeah, our minds are really trying to get any of that done that we can before we leave for tour, because once we leave, none of that's going to happen until we get back in December.
Okay. Do you like being on the road?
Love it.
Very much.
Do you, when you're not on the road, or you're like, we need to get back, are you itching?
There's a sense of anxiety that comes in. Yeah. It's like, I got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that everything that we do, honestly, I know for me, is focused on keeping us on the road. I mean, and that's even songwriting to some degree. The intent is for these songs to be a vehicle to keep us out on the road. We don't consider songs, hey, we're going to put this out on streaming and it's going to make some money or whatever. We don't think like that. They're just vehicles to keep people engaged and keep us on the road.
Well, you're certainly keeping us engaged. So
Mhm.
I've been listening to your music the last week as I prepared for this, and I've really
Cool.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So,
You.
and I wish you guys all the best as you can get on your tour and you go. So Matt and Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.